up, Diecast racing fans? I am excited today because this is the driver introductions for Season 2 of the NASCAR Nitro Series, our very first. We got 26 mods and 20 stocks, added the home team, that's 30 and 24, sent in by viewers to compete in this season's NASCAR Nitro Series. We'll have double the racing because we have a stock series and a mod series. The field fillers for the series will be the same, but they're just field fillers. Anyway, we have several teams set in fast, good-looking cars, and I cannot wait to introduce you all to the creme de la creme of the 2025 NASCAR Nitro Series. Anyway, without further ado, here are the stocks. For Puffs Racing, we have, in the number 42 car, weighing in at 36.2 grams, we have Isaac. He is driving a Kyle Petty tribute car, and his teammate, Richie, in the number 44 Chevy Camaro. That is a Mark Petty tribute car. Also for Puffs Racing, in the Lee, Richard Maurice, Kyle, and Adam Petty, number 41 through 45 car, we have Riot Isaac, also weighing in at 36.1 grams. And finally, the last driver for Puffs Racing in the stock series, Baby Richie, in the number 42. With Riot Isaac and Baby Richie seeming to be the evolved forms of Isaac and Richie, these nice-looking Petty 75 tribute cars are definitely ones to keep an eye on. Now, these next two cars had to cross an ocean and a continent to get here. The Barora Bangers. At 38.2 grams, we have the number 12 car of Nessa Force. Nessa is driving a blue and black Plymouth Roadrunner, and her teammate, Jimbo Rockford, in the number 11 Dodge Charger. You may know Jimbo Rockford from Lord Shank's channel. He had a pretty successful season, got a win, finished in the top 5 in points. Let's see if he can replicate that success here. And up next, the other stock team from the land down under, we have, for Cut Rock Creek Racing, a very familiar name if you watch a lot of diecast racing, the man, the myth, the legend, Coffee Tart. One of Mark D's staple drivers in pretty much every video he enters these cars in. Coffee Tart had a great season in Lord Shank's series, came one El Reco away from winning the championship. And alongside Coffee Tart in the number 72 G-Body, we have Crazy Ruby. Weighing in at 36.4 grams, Crazy Ruby also has some experience racing in other racing series. Let's see if that success translates to the grueling 12-race schedule. And up next for Po' Boy Racing, one of the original Sub-4RA OG teams, we have in the number 91 Chevy Monte Carlo, Gator McCluskey. This guy's you got to watch out for. This is an identical casting to Sterling Marlin, except it's pack fresh, it's got graphite. This thing's going to be really tough to pass on the track. And alongside Gator McCluskey, we have his teammate Skeeter Davis, another familiar name if you've watched Sub-4RA's videos, driving an ever-dependable G-Body with some pretty awesome looking saw blade wheels. And up next for Chase Family Racing, End Count in the number 37 Ford Thunderbird. Using an experimental graphite mixture, those wheels are freaking smooth. And up next for Mark Russell Motorsports, relative newcomer in the diecast racing scene. His late season charge that saw him rocket up 11 spots in the points earned him a full season contract, Morgan Shepherd. And I can assure you, no exploding car this time. This thing is a tank. And up next, driving in the second Oldsmobile we've seen so far, is Morgan Shepherd's teammate Terry Labonte, the first of several 94 cars you'll see in this video, weighing in at 43.3 grams, one of the heavier stocks. And speaking of heavy stocks, get a hold of this Sasquatch, 60 grams, Matchbox collectible Ford Mustang, the number 7 driven by Rowan for Uncle Elvis Racing. And if you want to mail your cars in still, you'll miss the Daytona 500, but you'll be in the other 11 races. Pony cars like the Mustang and Firebird are accepted. The Fox body is banned. All other American muscle, you're good to go. And that does not come from me. That comes directly from the France family. They gave Bobby Allison his W. Maybe Rowan will get a W in this car. And up next, we have the 00 of Sawyer in the Pontiac Grand Prix. That's the same casting as Todd Bodine last season. And he's got Talladega printed on his hood and his quarter panel. He is calling his shot. He is setting the expectations super, super high for this season. I cannot wait to see what he does on the track. And now also for Uncle Elvis Racing, we have the twins, William and Clyde, identical number 94 Bill Elliott Ford Thunderbird. They are both 62 grams, the heaviest stocks in the series, the 94C and the 94W. the infamous Hot Wheels Thunderbird. These guys have got to be some of the heavy favorites. And the McDonald's streak continues with HSL Motorsports, Vinny Oonce Nightlife, driving the number 27 Ford Thunderbird. If you remember, this was the fastest car on the track in the series finale, this new car he got for the final race, until he got caught up in the big one in the main event. And up next for the home team is Rusty Wallace. From being booted mid-season for being too slow to this, a fully graphited full-season ride. This thing ripped straight out of the package. This car's the reason I'm withdrawing myself from the prize pool. And this is the 68 Impala of Tristan Racewelski, commissioned by Tristan Racewelski Ramp Racing. Fellow NASCAR YouTuber, check his channel out. He's pulling double duty in both this series and Lord Shank's. He got a couple top fives in that series last year. Best of luck, Tristan. I know my 28 car is going to get a win on your channel pretty soon, bud. And the last car for the host team, Johnson Jr., coming back in the number 11 Thunderbird. It's black but not red. Commissioned by one of our earliest fans. He doesn't really comment much on here, but he's watched all the videos. He had 2 wins last year, set the league on fire halfway through the season. He's definitely got some lofty expectations. And finally, for Sloppy Bear Racing, we've got Violet in the number 43. 1948 Ford Coupe. Harking back to the days of the old moonshiners. 65.9 grams. That is heavier than some of the mods. I cannot wait to see this guy out on the track. And here we have Violet's teammate Pantone in the number 18 Toyota Camry. And if I'm looking at that correctly, Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's on his roof. It's on his hood. Is he calling his shots like Sawyer? Who knows? But all eyes will be on him at the Coke 600. And finally, we have the 04 non-championship last-minute entry. Was supposed to be a gift from who sent it knows they sent it. That was very generous of you. Whole bunch of graphite leaked onto it, coated the wheels. They spin pretty smooth. Was not entered as an official entry, but it has 2 DC Comics characters on the vehicle, so the Joker will drive the car in odd-numbered events, and Lex Luthor will drive it in even-numbered events. That way, it's not championship eligible. Now it is time for the mods. We got 30 mods altogether, sent in as entries for the series. These are the real heavy hitters. Some of these cars weigh up to 99 grams. We got a bunch of well-known builders sent in entries. This is going to get intense. I can already taste it. Without further ado, for Puffs Racing in the 95-gram, Brad Keselowski. Ford Mustang, we have Puff for Puffs Racing. And also for Puffs Racing, his teammate Misty G in the number 20 Interstate Batteries Camry. Weighing in at 97.5 grams. Some of the heaviest cars I've ever held in my entire life. I cannot wait to see how these run down the track. Coming in at 88.3 grams for Puff Racing, we have Riot Isaac in the number 45 Camaro. Another one of those eye-popping petty tribute cars. And finally, for Puffs Racing, their final entry, the Austin Cindric number 2. That is Baby Richie, weighing in at 94.5 grams. All of these cars are enormous. They are definitely going to make a lot of noise on the track. I cannot wait to see them race. And coming in all the way from Australia again is the Barora Bangers. And driving in the number 10 car of tomorrow is Gaza. And you may remember Gaza if you watched Lord Shank's series. And he had a pretty fast car there. Will he replicate his success? I sure hope he does at Texas Motor Speedway. At least maybe he'll even knock off Jerry Jones's truck. But I'd say his chances for success are pretty good. Those are some big tires, and big tires, as you all know, equal big speed. And up next is Gaza's teammate for the Barora Bangers, Gale Force, in the number 57. According to the Bangers team president, she's seen some success in Australia. This is her big league debut in the United States. I cannot wait to see what this Charger can do. And also from Australia, for driving for Cut Rock Creek Racing, we have the number 97 Ford Taurus of Harry Hoon, who was one of the big stars of the Sub-4RA ADRC. He is back into racing now with Cut Rock Creek Racing. Cannot wait to see him on the track, alongside Burt Buzzard, another big name from the ADRC, making me feel nostalgia for 2021 as if it was in the 90s or something. I mean, 2021 wasn't that long ago, right, guys? Burt Buzzard driving the infamous T-Bird Stalker that won a ton of races in the ADRC and Lord Shank series. And if you zoom in, you can see it has semi-transparent green wheels. Very good-looking car. And up next, we're going from the Outback to the Bayou. It is Po Boy, the team president of Po Boy Racing, driving his own car, this green G-Body, the 04 Pontiac Grand Prix. And his teammate / employee, Lucky Jackson, in the number 8 Circuit City Monte Carlo. Got some of the biggest tires in the NASCAR Nitro Series. And I believe these tires are not from a Hot Wheel. I think this is the only mod that's had a wheel swap that doesn't have Hot Wheels tires. Can't wait to see how they stack up. And up next, much like Cut Rock Creek Racing, Murphy Racing Enterprise also hails from the land down under. And driving Lord Shank's iconic black number 13 is Derek Pitts, one of the drivers that entered the Lord Shank Stock Car Racing Series late in the season. Will be taking over the number 13 for Lord Shank. And driving a bright red Dodge Charger in the number 999, that is Gavin McSplash, who finished close to last place in the Lord Shank Stock Car Series. Hopefully he'll have some better luck in the NASCAR Nitro Series in 2025. And if you haven't checked out Lord Shank's channel, I'll put a link to that channel in the description. Does a lot of the same kind of racing as I do. It's really good content. Check it out. And up next is Mark Russell Motorsports, another heavy hitter here, 88.1 grams. And I guess I was lying when I said that other car was the only non-Hot Wheels wheel swap, because Elton Sawyer, the number 38 T-Bird, has Matchbox wheels. Let's see how he hangs with the big names. And here, his teammate in the number 7 1979 Chevy Malibu is Sparky Racer at 92.5 grams. You should see the metal flaking on this car in person. The picture does not do it justice. A seriously good-looking car. And up next is Dog Squab Racing, Jay Bow in the number 2 Pontiac Grand Prix. That's a really fast but really top-heavy casting. I want to see how this performs with some extra weight. I cannot wait to see it on the track, guys. And does anybody smell something crispy in the air? Because it is shake and bake time. Jay Bow's teammate Mike Honcho driving that number 97 G-Body with FTEs. This guy's got to be one of them to look out for. And now we have Uncle Elvis Racing. His first driver is the NASCAR Hall of Famer Bobby Allison in the legendary Mustang that finally got its deserved W this year. Weighing in at 62.25 grams. Pretty big tires for the casting. This is yet another really good-looking car that the pictures don't do justice. Up next in the number 9 car, looks like it's covered in Viper scales, but it's not a Dodge Viper, it's a Dodge Charger, is William, also driving for Uncle Elvis Racing. Weighing in at 80.9 grams, considerably heavier than Bobby Allison's car. Can't wait to see how they do against each other on the track. And driving in the number 10 Matchbox Pontiac Grand Prix is Heather, 84.5 grams. Didn't even need a wheel swap. These wheels are just naturally fast. But as we saw with Matt Kenseth and E. Marshall last year, these castings are pretty top heavy. It's going to be exciting to watch. And finally, for Uncle Elvis's fourth entry, we have Clyde. He's driving an almost identical car as his stock counterpart, except this weighs 99 grams, the heaviest entry we got, pushing the envelope in a casting that won 2 races last year, won a whole bunch of races on Sub 4 RA and Lord Shank's channel. He's got to be counted as one of the early title contenders. And up next is the host team, starting with the number 46 Chevy Monte Carlo of Lord Raymond. If you've watched the Lord Shank Racing Series, he is arch rivals with the Black 13 of Derek Pitts / Lord Shank. And if the two of them ever get caught in the same segment, you can expect some fireworks. And up next in the Superbird is Chef Squid, a longtime fan favorite on the Sub 4 RA channel. I felt that this series wouldn't be complete with at least one winged vehicle, and who better to pilot it than a guy like the Chef Squid. And the third driver for the host team is the Owlman, number 38 Chevy Camaro, sponsored by Valvoline because it used to be a William Byron car. He's weighing in at 80 grams, and he's number 38 because the Owlman was first spotted on March 8th of last year. And finally, we have Casey Kane in the number 9, 63 grams. You don't want to know how much I paid for those wheels just for them to look cool. Casey Kane alongside Bill Elliott were always my favorite drivers growing up. And there's a ton of Bill Elliott cars already, so Casey Kane deserves a shout out. Now on to the more interesting mail-ins. From Sloppy Bear Racing, we have the number 3 Ford Crown Vic, driven by the boss man himself, Sloppy Bear, weighing in at 42 grams. The oldest car, I believe, that we have on the modified circuit this year, and his teammate Gray in the red Monte Carlo, the number 0 G-Body, weighing in at 52.8 grams. It looks as if Gray is promising a hurricane on the track. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we have yet to find out. But either way, you got to get hyped for it. And up next for Demon Preacher Racing is Charlie Verney in the number 74 G-Body Grand Prix. This is another one of those cars where the pictures don't do it justice. The matte black and the flames. This thing is seriously one good-looking hot rod. And as a footnote, there's no R in Charlie. It's like he's from Philadelphia, like Charlie Manuel. And this is his teammate Bill Z. Bubb driving the number 47. Looks like a Ford Taurus by Team Caliber. Weighing in at exactly 65 grams. Painted in a really nice shade of green. Can't really see the metal flaking from here, but if you zoom in, you can see it a little better. And last but not least is G-Force Racing. This car makes me want a Baconator with a supersized Dr. Pepper. It's sponsored by Wendy's. Giorgio in the number 27, IROC Pontiac Firebird. Weighing in at 63.9 grams. Do not let those big wheels fool you. This car's got a very low center of gravity. And we go from one great-looking car to the next. His teammate Christine in the number 28. Dodge Charger Hot Wheels weighing in at 58 grams. And this isn't the first car I said this about, but this is one seriously good-looking car. The pictures do not do this one justice at all. I cannot wait to see this one running down the track. And that is the last of the full-time competitors set in to try and make the Daytona 500. That is 24 stocks and 30 mods. If your mail-in car finishes the qualifying lap, it will race. If it doesn't, as long as there's 2 or 3 cars, the winner of the second chance race will get in. If there's 4 or more, first and second in the second chance race will get in. These cars are the field fillers. They're going to show up later in the season once I have my timing system fixed. As of right now, the segments will be set by random draw with playing cards. I just want to thank everybody that sent in cars. You guys are awesome. I cannot wait to see all of your guys' cars out on the track. You guys are in for a lot of fun racing. 12 stock races, 12 mod races, maybe a couple of guest appearances by the high-finishing stock drivers in the mod races later on. You guys let me know what you think. And check out the main page on the Redline Derby website. I'll have a link to that in the description. If you want to still send your cars in for the next 10 or 11 races, feel free to do so. The address is in the description. And as always, you guys, we will see you out there on the track.